is KFAN News with Chris Hockey.
In for Chris Hockey, I'm Zach Halverson. Good morning. Welcome to the news. Picking up and dropping off air travelers at Minneapolis-St. Paul International Airport is getting a bit easier. The Metropolitan Airports Commission announced yesterday that the new location for doing so is the Terminal 2 Express Lane. It's on the second level of the airport's purple ramp. This news comes as MSP is experiencing increase in travel demand, including a record of more than 711,000 passengers back in March.
Wow.
A Coon Rapids woman is accused of housing 79 cats in her garage in unsanitary conditions. Deanne Jensen faces 4 counts of and 1 misdemeanor count of overwork, mistreat animals.
I don't know what's about to come out of
Your hand is up?
Woodhawk.
The woman or the cat?
The woman.
Jensen is not in custody.
Yes. Why do you, I mean,
She is available.
I get, like, brilliant. I get, like, helping animals. I really do.
I'd have
like,
79 dogs if I could.
Yeah, but, like,
79 dogs on the wall.
okay.
Wait.
Stop drinking.
Take them down.
But, like, that's a lot of cats, right? And even, like, what do you do with
87,
them?
yeah.
What's your threshold of a lot?
79.
Two is
Yeah.
after 2. 3 cats is a lot.
Yeah.
79?
One's enough cats.
Yeah, 1 is enough.
2 is too much. And yeah, once you get to 79, I think you're definitely in the a lot category.
Yeah. That's a lot of cats, man.
All the animals reportedly in wire crates. And most of them contained several cats.
Yeah.
Let them go.
Yeah, that's not good.
Not great.
And the worst part is that woman probably thought she was doing a good thing.
Yeah.
That's one of those cases where the thought does not count.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
You are correct.
Yeah.
Well,
79 cats.
Deanne Jensen, that was not good to do what you did.
Yeah, tell her, Zach.
Yeah. Hockey's looking great.
Sorry to get all controversial and take such a
way to
strong
go.
Demonstrative.
The Haldazzle Festival is making a comeback.
Oh, hell yeah.
Positivity here. They are returning to Nicollet Mall after a year off, scheduled from December 18th through 22nd. This free, family-friendly event will feature light and art installations, holiday shopping, pop-ups, and entertainment on 2 stages. Attendees can enjoy free roller skating, mini golf, and visits with Santa. A new Friends of Haldazzle Pass will offer additional perks for those interested. Organizers hope the festival will boost local business and enhance community spirit
Are they still
during the
doing-
winter season.
Are they still doing the parade for that? We used to do that every year growing up as kids. That was so fun.
Yeah, night parades are great, man.
Yeah. Especially during the holiday
like
season.
every night for like 20 nights or something.
Yeah. It was
And
a
they'd
huge
have the
thing.
exhibit in the Macy's department store. That was so fun.
We should throw a
That was
night
probably
parade.
Dayton's when I was going.
For what, though? What would we
way
throw?
back there?
Whatever.
I mean, Dayton's, I think, started it, right?
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
way back
What
in
are
the
we
day.
throwing a parade for?
Whatever you want, man. You just get it has to be at night.
Okay.
Okay.
We do a power trip parade, you think?
Yeah.
We could
Power
build
trip
floats.
parade.
Yeah, we could do floats.
Yes.
We could have listeners build floats and bring them.
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah.
Why don't we do a
Musk
power
could drive
trip?
his
That'd be
antique
great.
tractor.
Yeah.
Get a bunch of listeners. Just
Little Johnny Popper up there.
yeah, shut down a small town in Minnesota. Just take a parade right through it.
Yeah. If they build
Remember
it,
the
we will
Shriners?
come.
They'd bring those motorcycles and do the figure eights. Did you guys see
Yeah,
those?
let's get Halvy on a motorcycle.
Yeah, get Halvy on a motorcycle.
Meat Sauce could throw candy to the kids.
I'd eat most of it.
You dress up as clowns.
Speaking of things
Clowns
you
are
can throw at
terrible.
kids,
What? Speaking of things you
Why
can
don't
throw
you
at
like
kids,
clowns?
I hate clowns.
Really?
Are you scared of them?
Yeah, I hate clowns. I hate clowns. I hate
Ronald
fireworks.
McDonald, you
all
hate
that stuff.
clown.
Well, no, because he...
Krusty the Clown?
He's a
No,
good clown.
Krusty's funny. Ronald represents food.
Big Macs.
Speaking of kids, where is this going, Zach?
well, one of the things you might throw at a parade is bubble gum.
Yeah.
Right? Common staple. Well, 6 people face charges, including grand larceny and identity theft, for allegedly stealing a big check from the Bazooka Bubble Gum Company.
that's-
Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg says 31-year-old Kashawn Williams got his hand on a $1.2 million check that had been sent to Bazooka at a former address in Manhattan. Williams allegedly opened a fake business bank account under the name the Bazooka Companies One and used the account to distribute the money to himself and 5 others. The bubblegum company, now known as Bazooka Candy Brands, was founded in Brooklyn as Tops Chewing Gum in 1938. It is now based in the UK, according to its website.
I respect the hustle. I'm not gonna lie.
Is that guy going to jail, do we think?
I would bet. Go back to the Tops. What was the Tops bit? Say that last part again.
It was founded in Brooklyn as Tops Chewing Gum.
Probably because of the baseball cards.
Yeah,
Cards,
right?
That was the worst gum ever.
Awful.
So bad.
Awful. For sure.
I'd like cut your mouth
it was-
open. I mean, it was just
Terrible.
just shards of gum.
And it was always busted up and
Yeah. Oh,
the
just
chalkiness and
you never got that great flavor first, and then it wore out.
Yeah,
No, it was just automatically worn out right when you got it.
It's like fruit stripe gum.
Oh,
God.
Fruit stripe gum lasts longer than I do.
Nice.
Zacco?
Well, you know the old saying.
Careful.
Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, won't get fooled again.
Brilliant.
Long Island police say they've busted a senior scammer on Long Island after he tried to con the same
high
woman
schooler?
twice. Suffolk County police Thursday arrested the man who hold on, let's go back here. On Wednesday, a 77-year-old woman got an alert on her computer that her bank account had been hacked. She called the number in the alert, and a man got her to withdraw $16,000 in cash and give it to the man at her home. Thursday, the same guy called back asking for another 10 grand, and that is when woman called the police. The 29-year-old Gurpreet Singh is charged with grand larceny. Police think someone else picked up the cash Wednesday. They're asking anyone with info to contact them.
When you first said senior scammer, I thought you meant a senior who was scamming people. And I was like, that's
same.
what I want to be when I grow up. And then the story...
I want to be when I grow
What's your
up.
goal in life?
the story took a turn. So
That's worse than the bazooka guy. This guy should
correct.
go to jail
yeah, this
forever.
guy should be in jail.
And the weird part about all these scams now is at least twice yesterday, I got a text about how the package that the UPS bit, you guys ever get that?
I hate
It's
those.
so blatantly.
It's like,
Yeah, dude.
it's stuck at the facility.
I've been trying to get this package for like 2 years now. I keep responding.
We'll leave JJ McCarthy alone. But
My Lord.
Like the UPS is not going to text you that busted up of it's just the words don't make sense. It's got too many. Anybody, and I know, I get it. They are literally fishing. They're looking. You can't swing or you can't win if you don't swing the bat, right? If all of us don't fall for it, but they get one person, like you just said,
then it's worth their time.
gives you 16 grand, it's worth it. You don't have to fool everybody. You just have to fool one person.
I'm going to be that senior that
I'm going to be scamming you,
Yes, Alexis, she's going to be scamming me, and I'm too gullible for it. Luckily, I have a wife because I have to give her hey, do you think that this is? Yes, it is. If you had to even ask, moron.
The other thing too, when you
but
see
there's
all
this
this,
prince that's in Saudi
correct.
Arabia.
Hockey knows somebody who fell for that. By the way, true story. But the other thing is they aren't even trying much anymore.
No.
The other day I got, hey, is this Paul from a 918 number? I'm like, what? And then I go, yeah. And it's like, hey, we
Why'd you answer?
Because
You're not supposed to.
Yeah, I know, but now I'm probably hacked. It doesn't matter. But it'll be like, hey, we've heard you have a bunch of storms in your area. It hasn't rained in a month. They're just, but all they're looking for is it just takes one person.
Yeah. It's all about pig butchering.
What?
That's what it's called. That's what
Is it
these scams
really?
are called, yeah.
Pig bush.
Man, I think they're playing the Fillmore.
Yes.
Remember that first time, with early internet days, though, when you actually did think you won $1,000 grand prize? That was the sweetest thing when that pop-up came. I clicked on them for the first 10, 15 times when I was 8 years old.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, this is it. Mama, you don't got to go to work today.
I remember once I got I think it was probably a pop-up that I'd won a chance to buy some fancy sunglasses for $10 a piece. And I got to the point where I'd put in everything but my credit card information.
Oh, you got that close.
And I'm like, wait a minute. This isn't, I don't know. The scams now they're just They're just throwing anything at the wall to see if it works is all they're doing.
When I was like 10, I got a pop-up that said I was going to get a free CD, and I got it. It was the craziest thing. Like, it actually worked out.
Or is this real?
No, this is real. Like,
Was this Columbia House?
Yeah, how about that? Columbia House was
You
sweet.
get 10 free K-sets, as they call them.
Yeah.
But if you didn't send them back in time, you now own Barry Manilow's greatest
And no
hits.
one's sending them back.
Yeah, the album was The Long Road, 2003 by Nickelback. Yeah.
Great album.
Wasn't it great?
That worked?
It worked. Because I was so young that my mom and dad were like, why'd you get mail? And why is it like this box? And they opened it up and it was a Nickelback CD.
So the moral of this story is sometimes it's not a scam.
Yeah,
so keep clicking on the
man,
link.
you never know.
Email that Nigerian prince back. Right.
Could be a long play. You still might be on the hook sometime.
Nickelback is awesome, and we all should just admit it.
My wife just texted me, I got the storm damage text too. So maybe we're both getting
They're coming at your
Or
household
maybe they're
from all
legit
angles.
friends who are worried about your well-being.
Yeah, I doubt it.
So there's just some prince in Nigeria like, oh, Max won't respond to my email.
Right.
I just want to make him rich.
Right. And ask when you see him tomorrow, ask Hockey off air that story. He has a legitimate he's told the story on the air where a friend of his called him and literally said, my troubles are behind me. And Hawk said, Hawk goes, come on. I like how I said, ask him off the air and I'll just tell the story. And Hawk said, what do you mean? He said, I got an email. I never knew that I had an uncle in like London. I'm just using London because that's where the Vikings play.
Sure.
And he was like, wait a minute, what? And he goes, yeah, he's giving me like millions of dollars. All I had to do was give him my bank account and my routing number.
Oh my gosh! And my troubles are behind me.
Yeah, he called Hawk, and that's when he started
just starting,
conversation with. My troubles are behind me.
Your troubles were already ahead.
Yeah, this is that was the news by Zach, and we'll come back. We'll do some more sports. Grimm's here for another 15 minutes before Guardsy gets here. Alexis Pearson's here. We'll talk about the Wild and them opening their season on Thursday. Muss is kind enough to join us. That's Zacho. That's Maxo. I'm Meat Sauce. We'll be back right after this on The Fan.
See two of the biggest names in folk rock as they take the stage together. Don't miss out when the Avett Brothers and Trampled by Turtles co-headline the XL Energy Center on October 24th. Tickets are still available for this incredible show. For more info and to get yours today, head over to KFAN.com, keyword calendar.
I'm looking forward to it. The X is a great place to watch a show.
It really is, though. One of my favorites of all time. Went to go see the Erykah Badu show there last year.
Oh, it's awesome. It's very cool. And now we go to Meat Sauce.
Zacho!
Zacho!
All right,
You guys
Zacho.
are having a good time over there.
We always are. It's fun. We got to take advantage of when the dads aren't here.
We were griping, too.
Oh, no. You two were complaining?
No.
Not us.
Without me.
I
All right,
know.
Zacho, hit the button. Let's fly here.
It's time for Fan 5 on the Power Trip, presented by All Around Property Preservation.
Thank you all around. Your Minnesota Vikings are 5-0. They win 23-17. They beat the Jets. They pick Rodgers off 3 times. They did lose Aaron Jones to a hip injury, but everybody has said that he will be back 13 days from today when your Minnesota Vikings battle the Lions at noon so far. Mussy, you're the one thing I wanted to ask you about, because you pay attention and watch the whole game and you listen to it.
Yeah.
Some of us watch it. Either way, it's the best. Your thoughts on how poorly it seems Sam Darnold played yesterday? 14-31, 179 yards and an interception, and he just kind of looked lost without Aaron Jones.
Yeah, and especially in that third quarter, we already mentioned that a little bit. The third quarter was just awful, and that's 2 weeks in a row for the Vikings. But with Sam Darnold, you can't underestimate how good the Jets' defense actually is. They got good pressure up front, and of course they got the corners that everybody's talking about with Gardner and that. But I don't know what it was that threw him off, because there was a stretch there where you're like, you have 5 possessions and you only have 35 total yards.
Yeah.
And they were just letting him gun it. Let's just keep throwing the ball. And he missed Addison on 3.
Yeah.
I mean, and they weren't even close throws. It wasn't like, he was just throwing it away or anything. It was just a bad throw.
It was, didn't you think, too, it was a little weird that it was almost for a while an all or nothing, like everything was deep.
We're throwing it deep
like third and
to
1,
Jefferson
you're
no
throwing
matter
40
what.
yards downfield.
There were,
in the middle of the field, they finally found the tight end at one point. It's like, hey, there's
Johnny
the
Munt.
middle.
Yeah.
Like
And that seemed like that was supposed to be kind of the game plan.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously, we were talking about that in the pregame. Like, wow, this of all games, they'd like to have Hawkinson back.
Yeah.
This would be perfect because of those corners. And they're a little suspect over the middle. So that's where you should attack. And we just never did. It was almost all like fly patterns. And it was just like, what are we doing here? Why are we just going to the gas and going deep? Or we could actually, take underneaths.
His numbers, though, without, think of the yards they got on the penalties. Like, his numbers are a little deceptive because how many yards did they get on the interference penalties?
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's a good point.
50 yards, wasn't it? Something crazy like that?
That's a very good point.
And it was, I thought, like, I like to watch and then thumb through the timeline of the Twitter because you see, how stupid people are.
Yeah, all right.
Or when Sauce is actually.
Sauce has got the nice bit going, which is great. Within minutes, he goes, Darnold's the worst, Darnold's the MVP.
Yeah, that's the whole bit.
It's
I
awesome.
just needed to flip as quick as possible.
No question. But the guy, Sauce Gardner's literally tackling the guy.
Yeah.
They throw the flag and he turns like, what?
Oh,
yeah.
What a game plan
what are you
that
talking
is.
about?
I mean, think about that. They went into that game specifically for Justin Jefferson. I think there was at least 5 different penalties, whether it was holding or it was PI.
It's almost every play.
Just on him. And that's what they just wanted to frustrate him.
Yeah.
They just wanted to just go, we don't care.
And they did.
We'll give up the yardage.
Yeah.
We
And
don't care.
I thought I tipped the cap to the refs that they continued to throw the flag because there's always that theory like, well, they're not going to call it every time.
Yeah.
And those guys had the
yesterday.
guts to do it.
Yeah, they
which
did.
Sometimes they don't.
Well,
And
there was a lot of flags thrown in that game.
It was like 20 total penalties.
Yeah,
right?
19. We had 11 of them.
Yeah, crazy.
It shows how much a franchise quarterback can mean to your team. The Washington Commanders destroyed Cleveland yesterday, who is 1-4. The Washington Commanders won 34-13. They are 4-1 and undefeated at home, Maxo.
Yeah, Jaden Daniels. I mean, like we talked about before, he's running away with Rookie of the Year unless Will Riker, the kicker, can win it.
He might win MVP.
Yeah,
that's how good Jaden Daniels is.
He's completely. I mean, a Commanders team, a Washington team that for most of my lifetime has just been absolute cheeks, and he's completely turned into cheeks.
Cheeks is my favorite adjective.
Double cheeked up. Yeah. Ass in the air, and he's completely turned that franchise around within a quarter of a season.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
they look
incredible.
so good.
Yeah,
They're excellent.
He's a player.
And
what was
it's a tough division too,
Deshaun
man.
Watson just walked off
He's
the
terrible.
field. Did you see that? What happened there?
I don't ever want to make an excuse for Deshaun Watson because he's a terrible person, but I think it was something. There was 13 men on the field. I don't know, but like Kevin Stefanski, who has won AFC Coach of the Year twice, and I don't think it's an AFC NFC thing. I think he's just won Coach of the Year.
Refuses to do the right thing.
He
right now.
won't bench him. Kevin Stefanski, as Charge tweeted yesterday, is just gonna go down with the ship. Like he's going to be
GM situation though, where it's like, hey, we paid this much money for this guy.
It's not only that.
Yeah,
it's what they traded.
Right.
Like before all these things came out, like before all the things came out, which are terrible.
Yes.
And he shouldn't be allowed to play. If he was a third string guy, they'd cut him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But like not only did they make him at one point the highest paid guy in the NFL, they traded a ton to get him from Houston.
And knowing much of the stuff.
Right, and knowing all of it, and then Houston was basically...
that is the curse of the Browns.
Right.
Yeah.
The thing
They're
is,
going to have to live with that until he's gone.
Yeah, and regardless of what he's getting paid, your job as a coach is to put the best players on the field. I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, you owe it to the rest of the team. You owe it to your fan base. You owe it to yourself. I mean, why would you stick with somebody who...
Especially if it might cost you your job.
Literally.
Yeah. But who's the backup?
I was just looking that up. It's Jameis Winston.
Yeah.
Jameis Winston. But then...
Well, they know how to pick him.
But they let Flacco... Flacco got into the postseason.
Flacco was killing it for the Colts.
He had, 4 touchdowns yesterday?
He had 3 touchdowns, and he threw for 359 yards, and Max's Jacksonville Jags finally got a win. they're 1-4 and snap that 9-game losing streak.
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence still sucks.
He does. Yeah,
they're in a really bad spot, and they can't get out of it. Similar. Obviously, Trevor Lawrence is not just an abysmal person that should burn in hell forever like Deshaun Watson, but they're kind of in a similar spot where they can't really pivot out of it because they paid him so much money. But Deshaun Watson he's been so bad that it's baffling that Kevin Stefanski still chooses to roll with him.
At least try something different.
Right,
I mean, who's to say you can't go back to him if things aren't working? It's like, at least try a game or two.
If Jameis Winston's going to do one thing, it's the vibes are going to be high.
Yeah,
at least everybody's going to be having fun.
Right. How about this? Well, this is the last thing we'll talk to Grimmer about, then we'll come back with Guardsy. How about this? Did you see the Texans-Bills game? The Texans won 23-20. And at one point, the Bills forced an intentional grounding that knocked them out of field goal range with like 49 seconds left in the game. They punt. They down the ball around the 2 or 3 yard line. And the Bills throw 3 straight deep passes, punt it back, and the Texans, who have one of the best field goal kickers in the game, hits a 59-yarder to walk it off. That's some of the worst clock management I've ever seen.
Who's that kicker, Sauce?
I don't know.
Fairbairn. I wanted to see how Sauce was going to pronounce it.
Fairbairn? Yeah.
I love it. I did see the highlights of that. Now, I think Houston did have 3 timeouts, so it might have been irrelevant. Even if they handed it off, they would have gotten the ball.
And the point is,
get your punters some space.
Right. Yeah. If you punt it, and which they did, they got what we're in their 40 or something. Ran a play, got into field goal range, and were able to call a timeout. If you make them burn those timeouts instead of wasting it, and we're all for being aggressive on this show. I think we all.
But just
like
run. Just take Josh Allen and just run 3 tush pushes. Make them use their timeouts, punt it deep, and then go to overtime.
I give McDermott credit though. In post game, he was like, "That was I did that terribly."
Grim, you're the absolute best.
Thank you.
Where can we find you? Where can we hear you again?
So Guardsy and I have Gopher Football Weekly with PJ Fleck tomorrow, noon.
What time will that be?
Noon.
Where will that be?
You coming out?
No.
Why not?
I don't know. I think I'm going to play golf
selfies. Tomorrow. Golf tomorrow. Yeah, good weather. That is at the Tipsy Steer in High Pines in Roseville tomorrow. And then we are headed to the Rose Bowl, Pasadena, California, 6 o'clock pregame, 8 o'clock kick. From the Rose Bowl Stadium Saturday.
You're the best. Thank you,
all right, good
Mike
to see you
Grimm.
guys.
Justin Gaard, who was on the field for all the hoopla that was the Gophers' victory over USC, he will join us next. It's the Power Trip Morning Show. We got an hour and a half left here. The dads will both be back tomorrow right here on The Fan.
The Fan.
Hey, Rubes, this football season, Bell Bank is giving one KFAN listener each week $1,000 to pay it forward to a charity of their choice. Just head over to KFAN.com, keyword contest to learn more and enter today. That's KFAN.com, keyword contest.
Welcome back, Power Trip Morning Show. Guardsy, what's up, my brother?
Hi.
How are you, man?
I'm good. How are you guys?
We're great.
What's not to love right now?
Yeah, life's good.
Vibes are high.
Yeah, 5-0 football team.
It's like Jameis Winston's our quarterback, like Max was saying. The vibes are going to be good.
Your squad, big victory on Saturday. Excellent job and everything you did. That was wonderful.
Oh, you listened to it? Or you just heard?
I just heard.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. It was late for me. I turned it off.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, it was late.
Yeah,
but it was the picture that Abbott found of you in the crowd and the big smile on your face. That's great.
That was crazy, wasn't it?
Yeah, excellent.
Yeah, that was wild.
And then Rovnak holding back PJR, all those people on TV.
It gets
great.
real messy.
Yeah.
Like, you got to be careful out there. It gets real messy. But there was a lot of people on the field.
How do you feel about storming field? So I saw some people saying that Gopher fans shouldn't have stormed.
Yeah, like Nordo.
What's your take on it?
Like, when did Officer Nordquist from the Fun Police?
I see both sides. I see both sides.
Well, wasn't it the marching band started to leave because they were worried about people?
Probably.
The field?
Yes. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's USC.
Yeah.
You hadn't beaten them since 1955. Yeah. They're one of the most historical programs in the country.
Yeah.
You needed it. They were ranked 11th. That's 100% storm in my. First of all, I think
who's it hurting is my take.
I think
Nordo's feelings.
I'm like Nordo. Like PA's been gone for like 3 days. Why are you this mad?
Correct.
Why are you this grumpy? He's been in another country.
Yeah, correct.
No, I'm not. I honestly don't even, I don't really have any rules.
Yeah.
Because most of the time it's the college kids that are doing it.
Right.
You're a college kid. It's parents' weekend.
Yeah.
Do whatever the hell you want.
I
right?
started
the
when we
people-
beat Wisco a couple years ago. That was a great time.
And did you have fun?
Great time.
Good memory?
I'd do it again.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Are you saying the people that in 1955 were around from the last win, they're not going to be storming the field?
Well, actually, some people have. Like a good friend of mine, when they beat Penn State, she jumped down and broke her hip.
Yeah.
So maybe Norrell's got a point.
Yeah, it's like you have to do it safely because the drop down.
It's a big drop.
The drop is further than you
Yeah.
think. If you could take the stairs, take the stairs if you want to get down there. And let's everybody be cool, as Hawk would say, because the drop down is very precipitous. And yeah, it just shattered her. They had first responders like ready to go.
It's a good story to tell someday.
Yeah.
Because people do get hurt. People do get hurt. And if you get caught up, like what the advantage this time was, they were mostly all coming from one side, the student section. Penn State, it was everybody. So what's happening is everybody's converging in the same spot, and then you just become like this wave.
Mob, yeah.
People do get hurt. I mean, we've heard stories, and it does. It wasn't scary on Saturday, but I was ready for it to be scary.
Yeah.
No.
Because you just start moving around against your will, which is not good. It's just not good.
Did you see Tommy?
No, I saw his pictures.
Yeah.
He was living his best life.
Yeah.
I think he storms every game win or lose. I'm pretty sure he ends up on the field some way, one way or the other.
Yeah.
But I saw him after the game. Yeah, he's probably still hammered. I mean, let's be honest. He probably called in sick to work.
Oh, I called in sick on Friday. He couldn't be here, and he was probably preparing for it.
He was giving them the classic, I'm not feeling
At
well.
4:30 the day before.
Yeah, he texted me. Yeah, true story. He was going to come in on Friday, and he texted me, and he said, "Hey, I'm not going to make it. I'm going to get drunk tonight with my clients." 4:30.
Yeah.
Not midnight, where I wake up to.
He gave you a couple hours notice.
He's growing
That's
up.
a responsible
Yeah, it's better
adult.
He probably cracked his first one and went, "Yep, not going to make it."
But this is Vikings news, Echo.
It is.
It's time for Vikings news on the Power Trip, presented by
Redco, your truck accessories pro.
Your Vikings are 5-0. They win 23-17. Sam Darnold, 14 of 30, 179 yards. He did have one interception. He did not look good after Aaron Jones went down. But when they needed him and they needed to move the chains and get that field goal to go up 6, he did do that. So he didn't have his best game. He hasn't, I have the stats right here. Hang on. One of us gone too soon. Hang on.
14 to 31, 179.
How about this? The last 6 quarters of Vikings football. I don't know who tweeted this, but I got it from somebody on Twitter.
Reliable.
He's 23 of 44 for 318 yards and a 52% completion percentage. He has 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. So he has not played well in the last 6 quarters. He was not good, but they are 5-0, and it's all because of the defense, Guardsy.
It also shows you how important Aaron Jones is.
Yeah,
that game really did. That game really changed. And I'm a Ty Chandler guy. Like I think I like Ty Chandler more than most.
He's a 1-2 punch guy.
He
so
is.
That's the
and
thing.
also, let's catch the ball. Let's,
just
what
on
are
the
we
pitch?
doing?
Yeah.
First of all, and then we kept going back to it. I'm like, why are we continuing to pitch this? It's a weird pitch.
Yeah.
There's no angle.
It's a live ball.
We dropped one. Why are we doing this? So Aaron Jones is valuable. The fan has learned.
Yeah.
And Darnold did not play well. Whoever said it though, I mean, the Jets defense is legit. It is good.
Absolutely.
And you knew they were gonna rally after JJ was just wearing them out. I mean, those like 9 flags in a row or whatever it was insane. It felt like it. I was at Forgotten Star, so I didn't get the
great spot.
Really cool. We had a good time. A couple of women I don't think made the noon bingo because they might have had a few too many IPAs.
It happens.
Things happen when they go to
That
London.
sucks when you miss bingo.
Yeah,
That was a really tough third quarter.
They were fired up about bingo. But
I got my daubers
They got
and
their
everything.
dauber. Their dauber was down the whole bit. What was I talking about again? But
The defense of
so
the Jets.
I'd give the Jets a little bit of credit because they're going to hang around. They're going to figure it out. But it got meaty there for a minute.
Well, that's what we knew going into it. I'm sorry.
No, you go.
That's what we knew going into it, that the strength was the Jets' defense. I mean, if you look at all their stats, and everything, they're like second in the league, first in the league. The only thing that they were 20th in the league was against the run. They were giving up 128.5 yards on the ground up until, yesterday.
Yeah.
And even then, I mean, between Ty and Gaskin, I mean, a lot of carries, not that many yards, but I mean, at least serviceable that you would hope that that would help the passing game. But it just never seemed to work out. And like you said, Aaron Jones, my God.
Yeah.
I mean, that guy makes such a difference because even if he's going to get a yard, he'll still get 3.
Yeah.
You know, and that's not the case when you go to Ty Chandler and you go to
the play action doesn't work when you have Ty Chandler who gets a yard or 2 a carry.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
need the play
or drops
action.
the pitch.
Yeah.
I saw somebody tweet after the Packers game, and this still applies after this game, I would say. They made the comment of, if we're noticing things that didn't go well with the Vikings and we're still winning, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
So it's okay to be critical and be like, oh, this didn't go well, that didn't go well. If they're still finding ways to win, you'll make those improvements throughout the season. So, I mean, but yeah, Sam Darnold needs to play better than he did.
Well, that was the storyline after the Packers game was like, okay, with the win, and the coaching staff still has a full week of going, okay, let's show you the third quarter and the fourth quarter.
You got tape to look at now.
Right. So we still have stuff to work on and work with. But then it didn't really show up, especially with special teams.
Well, to me, the most egregious play of the whole day was running into the punter.
Yeah.
Or the personal foul.
That really wasn't that. But that was running into the kicker.
Just get out of there. What are we doing? Either go try to block it. Don't do that where you just limp in and you just run into the dude and get a free 15, because that was a 3 and out, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they were obviously punting.
Yeah, then they went 17 plays.
Yes. And so that's the stuff. That's what's bothered me about the last couple of weeks, because they make it look so easy originally. Like, you're just in the first quarter of the last 2 games, you're just like, we're going to win 1,000-0.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine PA in the headset, because we all know how he gets. You know, the 2 touchdowns drive, they're killing the Lions. Like, there's 10 minutes left in the first quarter. It's the NFL. Like, everybody chill.
Yeah.
But then they start just screwing around, whether it was the Darnold pick to Jones,
the
or
bad special teams, except for the kicker, Will Reichert. The rest of them are just brutal. The running, the bit they got lucky with where the ball hit the jet instead of hitting, because he was Powell got the guy thrown into him.
Yes,
that they got lucky
just little
on that.
Sloppy stuff. It's like they almost fall asleep. Like, we are a wagon, because they are.
Yeah.
I mean, when they're all tight like that, it's unbelievable. Did you see? I'm sure everybody watched KOC's. Whatever locker room game ball bit.
Yeah, excellent.
His well, they're always good.
They're great. That's such a great.
You
bit.
should come in for a Fleck one after a win sometime. That's a ride.
I bet,
as you can
Literally
imagine.
For him,
he gets a ride. It's a little more. KOC's a little more subdued. With his face when he called Reichert like a cold-blooded killer or whatever. And he's like introduced, and then you expect like this, 6'7", absolute cold-blooded killer coming up, and then Reichert just kind of walks over there. Like, KOC's face is like, you're a killer, dude.
You're a killer.
You can own it. You might look like a middle school kid, but you are a killer.
Yeah.
And we need you.
All I know is that my wife never watched any of those post-game things at all, or even some of the games.
Yeah.
But now, since KOC's there,
we know.
She doesn't.
We know what that's about.
It's super weird.
She started watching when Lieber joined the broadcast, to be honest. we know what happened here.
He's 8 for 8. Let me see here. Let me see if I can find the whole bit. He's yet to miss anything yet. Unbelievable. 58's his long. He's yet to miss.
I don't want to jinx him, but like, for the first time in maybe my entire life, and I'm old now, so this is a long time. But
you're old.
I am. I don't get nervous when he goes up to kick the ball.
Yeah.
Normally you're like, sweat. I don't care if it's a chip shot, a 50-yarder, or somewhere in between. I'm always sweating. And this season, I'm like, all right, cool. 3 points. There we go. Cool.
He's 9 for 9 on field goals. He's 1 of 1 for 40 to 49 yards. He's 3 of 3 from 50 plus.
It's so crazy, though, in the NFL today, where it's like,
they're so good.
A 55-yarder?
Yeah.
Was it Aubrey who was going to attempt, or I don't know if they were actually going to attempt it, but 71-yard field goal?
Yeah.
The leg that these guys have nowadays is just insane.
Well, how about this? Power Trip Bets texted me this about 2 hours ago, and I meant to get to it, but I kept forgetting. What do you think the Vikings rank Super Bowl odds-wise out of every team?
Well, you know how much of a good gambler I am.
Okay. Maxo, where do you think they rank Super Bowl odds-wise after yesterday's win, and they're 5-0?
I'm going to say they're still disrespected. I'm going to say they're like 7th.
Guardsy?
I was going to say 4th or 5th.
I was going to say 5th.
They are 5th. They're 11 to 1 What do you think the over-under started at 6.5? What do you think the current over-under is at with your Minnesota Vikings?
10?
Yeah, I was going to say it's got to be
11.5.
Yeah.
12.5. Let's go. 12.5.
Wow.
KOC is plus 175 to win Coach of the Year. That's the favorite. And Darnold is currently what to win MVP?
Ooh.
Yeah, wait,
That,
are
I
we
don't know.
including yesterday's game?
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Okay, no.
Odds-on favorite.
Oh, man.
This one I won't know.
MVP?
Yeah.
He's 12-1, fifth best, and the Vikings
don't
are the
know.
favorite to win the NFC North.
I can list like 5 players that deserve it more than him off the top of my
Jaden
head.
Daniels,
Yeah.
yeah. But it's
So, I
still,
don't know.
I mean, this was a team that a lot of us, we talked about leading up to it in July when they drafted J.J. McCarthy, and everybody thought, well, it's just a matter of time because Sam Darnold is a journeyman. He's not any good. Yeah. It's going to continue. We're going to see J.J. before, sooner rather than later, maybe in the second or third game. People were picking when we thought J.J. would play. He has
been
been
the Lions game.
Yeah,
you're right.
A lot of people, correct.
You're right.
People thought, he has played sloppy, but he has kept them in the game. They're 5-0. But then he comes out, they win the first game, and everybody goes, it's the Giants. The Giants are terrible. They're 5-0, and they have one of the toughest starts to a schedule, and they beat all playoff teams. The Jets would have been a playoff team last year had Rodgers not got hurt. The 49ers were in the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. They beat, who else did they beat? Texans, who were a playoff team, and they're 4-1.
Yeah.
The only loss the Texans have is the Vikings. They're a legit team. This isn't like we saw a couple years ago where they would win just because they got super lucky.
Teeth, yeah.
This is a legit football team, and as we said, they've trailed by under 3 minutes and 30 seconds all season.
Yeah. And you know what? I mean, think about the fact that KOC just has so much trust in Sam Darnold's arm that it gives him so much more ability to succeed. Yeah, you're going to have games like you had yesterday where it's just not going to click for whatever reason, whether the defense is really, really good or just sometimes it just happens. And, but for KOC to he throws it over the middle, throws a pick, and the very next series, let's do it again. Mm-hmm. And so he has trust in him, and so the guy has a chance to actually succeed, which that hasn't really been the case in a lot of seasons that we've watched with the Minnesota Vikings.
Paul, your hands up.
Here's KOC after the game talking about going into the bye 5-0.
We'll go into the bye 5-0.
Thank you.
5 incredibly difficult challenges so far to start this season, including wrapping it up with a trip that we very much look forward to coming to London. It's been a phenomenal trip. I want to thank everybody that took care of us at our hotel, the NFL, putting on a great trip for us, and obviously all the folks with the Vikings that plan this thing year round. There's a lot of people that their names can't be mentioned right now, but I just wanted to personally thank all of them for helping make this trip go. We'll go into our bye, get healthy at a couple spots, and hopefully come out with the momentum that a 5-0 team should. But
I mean, you get to play now. You'll play a 4-1 Lions team, Guardsy, and the sky's the limit at this point.
You want to talk about vibes? How's that game going to feel?
Right.
I mean, that game is going to be a vibe.
Yeah, it'll be excellent.
That game's going to be fun.
And at home.
That's what I mean. We haven't been home for like a month after that, right? Because the Texans game was the last one.
Yeah.
So, that one's going to be wild. That one's going to be really, really fun. These are the seasons I think that are most fun when you're literally not expecting anything. You nailed it, Sauce. All the things that we talked about. At this point, I mean, I'm old enough to remember when we said they have to beat the Giants to avoid 0-6.
Yeah, correct.
That was like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
That Giants game, man, it feels like there's a lot riding on it. Now it's just this complete footnote because they're a wagon. So these ones are fun, man, where it's just completely unexpected and you can just roll through it and see where it goes because it's a good team.
Yeah, and most would have looked at that schedule and said, maybe 2 wins.
Everybody did.
Yeah, everybody. I said they'd start 1-4, and the over/under to start the year was 6.5.
Yeah,
they have 5 wins through 5 games. Yeah. This isn't like this is everybody except for Chris Hockey was wrong, and I'm not kidding. Hockey, every time we spoke negative about him, kept saying, "Just wait till the season. Let's let them play some games." The defense, Van Ginkel yesterday, his second pick 6. He talks about it after the game yesterday.
Teaching the big picture, so. Metellus or I could be at different positions, but we're kind of doing the same thing. And he kind of teaches it in ways that, like, defenders on the field are just kind of X's on the field, and you could be here, you could be over there, you could be in the D line, you could be inside backer, and at the end of the day, it's kind of spots and positions and zones and coverage where you're dropping to.
He said after the game that what he did was he looked to see how the guard reacted to that play.
Yeah.
And the guard, he knew when he came up to the line that the guard
I went crazy.
Kind of flinched.
Oh, not me?
No, not you.
I went nuts.
And then
it was great.
He knew that the play was coming, and he picked him off. And then to the Stephon Gilmore interception. Stephon Gilmore has been in the league so long, and that was another bit. When they signed Gilmore, we're going, why are they signing a $10 million cornerback in the middle of August? I was with Ryan Donaldson at the time. He lost his mind. But that's a completely
Well, it could have been a Caleb Evans instead starting. That's why.
What hole were you on?
Right, probably 5, I think.
Okay.
But the point, though, is like Gilmore knew that back shoulder throw was coming, and he turned and caught that pass and perfectly picked it off.
Well, and then remember the play just prior to that, I think there was maybe like 2-3 plays before where Wilson got behind him.
Yeah.
And luckily
he missed.
He missed. But so then Gilmore was like, he even talked about it after the game with Lieber, that he's like, okay, so they torched me on one, and I was like, okay.
Not going to make that mistake
Bring it
twice.
again.
Yeah.
Bring it again. And they did, and then that's how he was able to make that pick, because he was in better position.
This is the beauty of sports, and I get we're in the business of making predictions and talking about what's going to happen and what do we expect and who's going to be good and who isn't. But I always hate getting asked the question, like, how do you think this team's going to do this year? I'm like, I don't know. Let's see them play some games. Yep. That's what's so awesome about sports, because nobody predicted the Vikings would start this way. And not only did they start this way, but they're looking pretty darn good doing it too. And that's what's so fun about it, is you truly never know. I mean, you could have on paper the worst team that's ever existed in the history of the world, and they could go out and be a decent team and maybe win some games. So that's what I love about sports, is you just never know.
At 5-0, simply this is the best coaching I think we've ever seen in Minnesota.
I'd agree.
Yeah, with both B-Flow and KOC. I mean, what they're
I'm obsessed with Flo.
I love Brian Flores.
He's so good.
Him.
I want to get an apartment by Flo.
Exactly.
I love that guy.
Just give me some of your cool. Just let some of
you
it
just feel so good when even though they're marching down the field, it's like then they cut to Flores. I'm like, oh, we're good.
They show him like on the sideline. I'm like, he knows what he's doing.
Yes.
Like, sunglasses on. He's so calm and
sunglasses,
collected.
no glasses. When he's got the vest, it's a vibe. The hat, I mean, it's like
the whole bit.
He'll figure it out.
Yeah.
He'll figure it out. I trust. If he doesn't, it's not his fault.
Blame somebody else.
The players. But how many times do you look at a coach like the one last year? I think it was it Arthur Smith or whoever their old coach was. Like you just look at the contrast. Like one guy has no clue what city he's in, and he's not their coach anymore.
No,
and then they cut the flow, and it's like, oh yeah, we're good.
Yeah, we're good.
We're good.
I mean, even
you're right, Thomas.
I mean, even that play in. They broke it down on ESPN, I think, last night, where even the play when it was like 4th and 1, and the Jets had a little bit of momentum and they handed the ball off, and Dallas Turner shot it and tripped the guy up. Why they're handing the ball off? It's a total system failure in New York. They're handing the ball off on 4th and short with a guy standing 10 yards from the line. Just sneak it, but they can't with their old-ass quarterback.
Yeah.
That's just how it is.
Yeah, he's
just broken, man. He's just broken.
They kept talking about that on TV, though, yesterday, about the fact that Aaron Rodgers' offense is so predictable that they're just like, it's at this point, everybody knows what to expect, and he runs through the same plays every single time, and defenses are all over it.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
Still scary to have him with the ball, though.
I know. We've seen this game so many times.
And then they're like, he's 42 and 31 against the Vikings, right? He's played us a million times. Right. We've lived it. It's a nightmare. It's like, oh God.
Your Vikings win 23-17. They are 5-0. They are off this week. They play the Lions 13 days from today. We'll come back. We'll run through the wild world of sports. That was a bunch of upsets in college football. Baseball playoffs. Your Lynx will play a Game 5 tomorrow because the Suns forced a Game 5. All that and more right here on The Fan.